Meet Peach, a 1978 ASI Riviera I met on June 5th, 2015 in sunny Palo Alto, California. A friend of a friend was selling her, and I had owned a 1977 ASI Riviera and was interested in having one again. So on June 17th, I bought her and brought her home to my lovely wife and daughter. I really like going on trips in Peach. It's one of my favorite things. I've driven her down to LA, I've driven her down to Santa Cruz to go camping with my daughter Aria. I really like camping, and camping in Peach is the best. There's really nothing better. So I've taken her camping to Burning Man, and we had a really good time. Generally, she's great, but she's not without problems. Here's the filler neck, which I had to replace because it was cracked and leaking. And I'd get gas smell in the bus every time I filled her up. I also really enjoy working on Peach. For example, I pulled the tank, replaced that broken part of filler neck, and also did all the other gas lines at the same time. I've also redone the tie rods and drag link in the front. I also replaced the front and rear shocks with nice Coney shocks, which dramatically improved the ride over the worn-out KYB gas adjusts that were there before. And I even got into a little bit of body work, replacing this hole that was cut by a previous owner for replacing the gas tank sender with some new metal that I welded in place and ground down. What is the Peach project? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? So I like camping and driving around in a VW bus. I like working on VW buses. All of these things are fantastic to me. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I very much like camping with her. And I recently saw a guy had done a traveling salesman sort of shortest path through all of the national parks, and had calculated using Google Maps a route that got you through all of the national parks in the contiguous 48 states in the shortest drive possible. Looking at that trip, I expect that it's about a 3-month trip to actually enjoy the parks at all, maybe even longer. And then that got me thinking, summer vacations. I have a 5-year-old daughter that I really like camping with, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to take her around to all the national parks? So I figure a month and a half in the summertime, drive around one half and come back down. Next summer, drive around the other half, come back down, sort of enjoy the national parks and enjoy spending time driving in the Peach and camping in the Peach. So with that in mind, my goal with this project is basically to rehab the Peach and make her in great shape for 6 weeks of living in the Peach. On top of that, my thought is to sort of rehab her so that she'll last another 40 years. She's over 40 years old now, and you know, it's time to refresh some things. So, with that in mind, the big projects that are underway are basically everything, redo everything. People have asked me, you know, is there going to be anything original left? Yes, a lot of the body that's original will still be there, and you know, many other parts will still be original. So, what am I doing? I'm rehabbing the engine. So the engine is out right now. It's off at the engine builder, and that will be coming back probably in about a month or so. I won't be ready probably to reinstall it at that point in time, but I'm doing a camper special from Jake Raby, which is a great engine that supposedly makes about 110 foot-pounds of torque across just about the whole RPM curve, which is a pretty amazing accomplishment. So people that have this engine say it's an absolute pleasure to drive and makes driving a heavily laden camper up and down mountains and stuff a much more pleasurable experience. In addition to that, I'm redoing the transmission, so the transmission's actually back already. That went out to Rancher Performance for a rebuild and the addition of a limited slip differential in case I decide to go on any back roads or, you know, into the dirt a little bit. Make it a little bit better in terms of off-road capabilities. On top of that, this 78 is not in very good condition. There's clearly a lot of body damage. The top needs some work. The canvas it's not in horrible shape, but the zippers don't all work. And there's a few problems in the mosquito netting. I could fix that in place, but I think I'm going to replace it. There's some fiberglass cracks and other issues with the fiberglass. I'll show you all these problems in a video that will come after this one, but I just wanted to give you some idea. There are significant issues with the body that need to get fixed. And then obviously, you know, she could use new paint after all of that is done, new window seals, all of the usual stuff in terms of restoring a bus. She is an ASI Riviera, and the interior is pretty trashed. There are pieces of the original ASI interior that are missing. There are other pieces that are broken and just generally not in very good shape. And I don't particularly like the layout from the 78. I liked the layout that was in my 77 better. So I'm gonna rehab the interior as well. It won't be original. I know a lot of people, it's worth a whole lot more if it's in original shape, but the goal of this project is not to build a bus that I'm gonna resell for a whole lot of money or that's gonna retain a ton of value, although I think it will retain a bunch of value. It's to build a bus that I'm gonna enjoy driving and gonna enjoy taking my daughter around in, and my wife probably won't be able to come on these trips, but we'll see. I mean, I would love it if she could join. She works a lot as a medical resident right now. So residency doesn't afford her a lot of time off, but hopefully she can join for a week somewhere along the trip. Fly out, we'll pick her up, and then we'll fly her back. So that being said, we did engine, we did tranny, we did interior, we did sort of exterior, and all the body rubbers will be done and all of that kind of stuff. And then there are some upgrades that I want to do. I want to sort of do what people are calling a resto mod, where I bring her into modern condition. We live in Texas. It's hot here in the summertime, so air conditioning is a must. I have purchased the air conditioning and will be doing videos of the install of that. I suspect when my daughter is old enough, she's going to want to drive this thing, and my wife, I would love it if she could drive a little bit now and then, and that probably means power steering. So I'm going to do a power steering unit from Light Steer. I've already purchased that. That's over here. And we're going to do as well. I don't think it's necessary for summer trips, but probably I'm going to like to do some winter trips with her eventually and take her up to Colorado and go skiing and stuff. And one of the things my 77 had that I really loved was a propane heater. So I'm going to do a Propex, one of the external 2211 heaters that sits on the underside of the bus so that I don't take up interior. The fridge in this was not the original fridge. I'm going to put a new fridge in. There is no stove in it. Somebody took the stove unit out. And so I'm going to put a stove back in it. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do gas or I'm going to do induction stovetop. I'm going to do solar and a secondary battery. The secondary battery is already there. I have some things for the solar. And I'm going to generally rehab a whole lot of other things. So there you go. There are some things already done. I think I mentioned a few already. I redid all the shocks. I redid, those are nice Coney shocks, per the advice from Richard Atwell, who, if you don't know, I highly recommend going and reading his stuff. If you have a bay window bus, he's a great resource. Additionally, I've done a replacement on the washer bottle, so you don't have to inflate it with a tire pump. It actually is an electric fuel or washer bottle. And I've done most of the front end. I didn't do the steering box, but because I diagnosed that the tie rods were all messed up, but I did do the tie rods, drag link, and steering damper. I still have too much play probably, so I'm going to adjust the steering box next, and hopefully that's going to fix the steering. And then the last piece that's probably a big piece that's going to get done is I bought an awning for the side, the Fiamma F45 awning, so I'm going to install that as well. And because my wife is Italian and I have relatives in Italy that have access to Fiamma stuff that's not imported, I have the Fiamma side room that goes with that awning as well, so we can have a side tent on the side of the bus. So all of this I'm very excited about. It's going to be great to have everything all done, and that's the Peach project. So I'm going to post videos of, next up is one where I'm going to walk you through all the problems in the Peach that I can show you relatively quickly in a video, and explain a little bit more of why I undertook all of this resto mod work at this point. And then I'm going to do a video of taking the engine out and then taking the transmission out. And then, we'll start taking the body apart, taking the door panels off and taking the interior out and doing all that work. So lots more videos to come. And then eventually, when she's all done, I hope that I'll be able to do some tour videos of our adventures in the Peach, and you guys can tag along for, the adventures in the Peach through the greater United States. And then, who knows, maybe we'll take her to Europe and do some touring around Europe. I don't know. So thanks for watching. If you like what's going on here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Everybody says that. I gotta say it too. And there you go. Have a great day.